you speak in your book about when women pitch an idea, how they pitch an idea differently than a male pitches an idea. And you talk about how men talk more confidently about this is absolutely going to work, and women take a different approach. And often in our organization, we are maybe presenting an idea to do something different, or we're pitching an idea to bring on a new technology, or our leaders in our communities are saying, can we do this a different way? So what did you learn in those, how the women delivered those pitches that we could benefit from as we're trying to gain collaboration for an idea that we have both men and women?
So when entrepreneurs are pitching to venture capital investors, these are the people who will decide whether to give them millions of dollars to fuel their business. Interestingly, two things happen. The questions that the investors ask are different whether there's a man or woman in the room. The investors are more likely to ask a man about the upside potential. What's the best possible outcome? What's your dream? What could be happening in 10 years? The women are more likely to be asked about the downside risk. What's the worst case scenario? What are you going to do if the economy crashes? What are you going to do if you have a new rival? So that women are asked about downside risk. Men are more likely to be asked about upside potential, which obviously will impact the kind of answers they get. Then separately, women are more likely to talk about their company as it is now. Here's where we are. Here's what we're doing. Here's what we hope to do, but we're really focused on the numbers and what we've accomplished already. There's a fun study that said men are more likely to talk about their company as it will, they hope it'll be in a year, but talking more in the present tense. So men are more saying like, here's what we're doing, and talking more a little bit about the future and feeling very confident that they're going to achieve their goals, where women are more cautious and practical in describing things. They don't want to over-promise and under-deliver, whereas men are less concerned about that. So what's really interesting is there are two pieces of this pie. There, how women may be representing their goals differently than men are, but then also how the investors or the managers may be coming at the situation differently. So a number of female CEOs I talked to said it was really helpful for them to learn that they might be being asked different questions. So a number of them said, oh, I read this study about how women are asked different questions, so now I'm prepared. I'm prepared because I can answer the question about the downside risk, and then I could pivot and give an answer about the upside potential. But just understanding that the investors may be coming at me differently makes me better equipped to navigate those challenges. Another thing I think is really interesting is a number of female founders said to me, you know, I was pitching, I wasn't having any luck. And I would ask these investors, I would pull someone aside, the rare woman investor aside, and say, can you help me figure out what I'm doing wrong here? And one woman, the CEO of a wedding planning company called Zola, Shanlin Ma, the investor said to her, look, we understand you're being very honest and realistic, and you're giving us your most realistic estimates, but you have to understand that the men are coming in here and they're pounding the table and they're telling us they're going to go to the moon and everything is going to be amazing. And even though we know they're exaggerating and we know you're being very cautious, like we know that as investors, but you need to know that you should give us your best possible outcomes. Don't be afraid to just understand that they may be coming in here with a different approach, and you should feel emboldened to be confident as well. So it's more like there is across the board, everyone knows that the men are blustering, but then maybe the women should be blustering as much too. So obviously it's kind of a funny situation because nobody wants to over exaggerate what's going on, but it was kind of sort of like a leveling of the playing field.